The differences between Catherine, Princess of Wales, and Meghan Markle have been debated for years, and many royal watchers continue to compare their public appearances in remarkable detail. On May 19, 2018, St. George's Chapel in Windsor became the setting for Meghan's royal wedding.
Shocking differences between Catherine, the Princess of Wales, and Meghan Markle have just been exposed in glorious detail.
Her elegant Givenchy gown, designed by Claire Waite Keller, featured a dramatic train carried by 5 young attendants. 7 years earlier, at Westminster Abbey, Catherine made her own memorable walk down the aisle in an Alexander McQueen lace dress with long sleeves and a striking 9-foot train. Even back then, headlines were already drawing comparisons between the two women. And that conversation has never really disappeared. What you are about to see is a look back at 8 years of moments that sparked debate across the media and among royal commentators. Some critics have argued that Meghan often launched projects, appearances, or initiatives that appeared similar to things Catherine had already been associated with. Supporters, however, see those similarities very differently and argue that both women were simply building their own public roles while facing intense scrutiny.
That as Meghan tries harder, actually, as we can see in those contrasting imagery, Meghan continues to try and cosplay Catherine. Now, we've rumbled it, we see it, but it shows that she is obsessed with this woman who she still views as her biggest rival.
It's just horrible what Meghan has done. And they feel really sad for the monarchy at times because that's what Meghan has in her sight to do things to people like Catherine. Things that came out in that book, you know, about calling them racist. Like she takes the most egregious thing you can say about a person. Across 8 separate moments, observers pointed to instances where Catherine had a major public success. A trip, campaign, appearance, or widely praised project. And Meghan later found herself facing comparisons after launching something of her own. Whether those similarities were intentional or simply coincidence remains a subject of fierce debate. If you feel that as Meghan tries harder, actually, as we can see in those contrasting imagery, it's actually Catherine who comes out stronger because she's not trying to be anything other than someone who is there for the public, her subjects. Royal commentators have even attached a label to this ongoing discussion. Tom Quinn referenced it in a book published last year. Kinsey Schofield discussed it on GB News in 2023. Jane Barr highlighted it in a headline that gained major attention in February. And Tom Sykes used the same term in the Daily Beast just last week. The comparisons keep coming, and the debate shows no sign of slowing down. 4 royal commentators, 1 recurring word, 8 years of headlines and debates. The word often used is fixation. Over the years, royal watchers have pointed to a series of moments they believe tell a larger story. Some of these incidents made front-page news, while others slipped by with far less attention. The latest example, according to some commentators, happened just days ago and has already sparked another wave of discussion. The first major comparison arrived almost immediately after the Sussex wedding in 2018. Within 24 hours, newspapers across the UK were placing Catherine's 2011 Alexander McQueen wedding gown beside Meghan's 2018 Givenchy dress, designed by Claire Waite Keller. Photos appeared everywhere, sleeve by sleeve, tiara by tiara, detail by detail. Fashion writers, royal reporters, and commentators spent weeks debating which royal bride had delivered the more iconic look. This woman was getting a wedding far bigger and more elaborate than they even deserved. The Queen wanted her to have something small, but no, she wanted all the bells and whistles. But then she was totally rude about everything.
Sick of this narrative of poor Harry and Meghan. They've been cruelly maligned, they've been ostracised. The poor little things have done nothing wrong. They've done a hell of a lot wrong, to be fair. And the fact that they've still got those titles, I think the family are still going fairly easy on them. I know it's not the easiest thing to strip that involves Parliament, but they have really taken the piss out of that family, out of Queen Elizabeth, out of the generosity of the royal.
Much of the media coverage at the time suggested that Catherine came out ahead in those comparisons. Fashion publications, newspaper features, and public discussions frequently highlighted her wedding style as the benchmark. Of course, neither bride controlled how the media framed those comparisons, but the side-by-side analysis became impossible to ignore. For many observers, it marked the beginning of a pattern that would continue for years. Meghan continues to try and cosplay Catherine. Now we've rumbled it. We see it, but it shows that she is obsessed with this woman, who she still views as her biggest rival in the world. Then came another moment that fueled debate. On October 12, 2018, Princess Eugenie married Jack Brooksbank after more than a year of wedding planning. The event was intended to be a major celebration for the couple and their guests. However, reports later claimed that Meghan and Harry privately shared news of Meghan's pregnancy with family members during the wedding period, leading some commentators to argue that attention shifted away from the bride and groom, and what they did at one of the princess's weddings revealed the fact that they were expecting. So, totally overshadow pregnancy. We are pregnant. They decided to do it then and there. Of course she did. Exactly. So, it's not even like they're the type of people that you really want at a wedding. Those claims have remained a talking point among royal commentators ever since, adding another chapter to a debate that continues to generate headlines years later. But it's not that that's what this is about, though. It's a message from the family. You are not welcome. We side with William and Catherine. It's clear. Just 3 days later, the palace made its announcement public, adding even more attention to an already intense news cycle. Sarah Ferguson, Princess Eugenie's mother, chose not to make any public comments at the time. To some royal watchers, that silence spoke volumes, while others saw it as nothing more than a decision to stay out of the media storm. Either way, the story quickly found its way into the headlines, as royal stories often do. The Sussexes have consistently maintained that there was no intention to pull focus from Princess Eugenie's wedding, and that the pregnancy news was simply shared with family members during an exciting moment in their lives. Reports from outlets such as The Mirror covered both the announcement and the timing, while other publications focused on the reactions.
The reverse happened. It made me cry, and it really hurt my feelings. And I thought, in the context of everything else that was going on in those days leading to the wedding, it was a really hard week of the wedding. And she was upset about something, but she owned it, and she apologized, and she brought me flowers and a note apologizing. What was hard to get over was being blamed for something that not only I didn't do, but that happened to me, and the people who were part of our wedding going to our comms team and saying, I know this didn't happen.
Lack of reactions from different members of the royal family. Princesses Azzy and Beatrice are close with their cousins. You know, regardless of the turmoil that's obviously going on with the fallout with Andrew and Fergie, and whether they have been involved and haven't been involved, they're incredibly close with Sarah. They're incredibly close with Peter Phillips. You often see them going to Monaco and the Grand Prix together. That family is incredibly close, you know. As the debate grew louder, some commentators pushed back against the narrative that Harry and Meghan were being unfairly treated, while others argued that the couple had faced years of criticism and scrutiny. The divide between those viewpoints only seemed to widen as our more headlines appeared. So yeah, I mean, for them to turn around and say, oh, well, princesses beat and are trying to go. You've seen the media try and spin it, and it's this storyline again. And I'm so sick of this narrative of all Harry and Meghan. They've been maligned. They've been ostracized. The poor little things have done nothing wrong. They've done a hell of a lot wrong, to be fair. And the fact that they've still got those titles, I think the family is still going fairly easy on them. I know it's not the easiest thing to strip that involves Parliament, but they have really taken the piss out of that family, out of Queen Elizabeth, out of the generosity of the royal family. Meanwhile, different outlets offered very different interpretations of the same event. The Royal Observer published a piece defending the Sussexes under the headline, "Why Harry and Meghan Revealed Pregnancy at Eugenie's Wedding." No, it wasn't to steal the spotlight. The International Business Times ran a separate report discussing Sarah Ferguson's reported response. Whatever side people took, one thing was clear. The story dominated headlines for days and kept the debate alive. Then another controversy emerged. On May 20, 2018, The Telegraph reported a claim that would spark years of arguments and speculation. According to the report, during a fitting at Kensington Palace before the Sussex wedding, a disagreement involving Princess Charlotte's bridesmaid dress allegedly left Catherine upset. The story quickly exploded across the media landscape and became one of the most talked about royal disputes in recent memory. What's this now? The story quickly became one of the biggest royal controversies of recent years. Early reports claimed that Catherine was left in tears during a bridesmaid dress fitting involving Princess Charlotte before the Sussex wedding. Then in Meghan's 2021 interview with Oprah Winfrey, a very different version of events was presented. According to Meghan, it was actually Catherine who made her cry, and she later received an apology along with flowers and a handwritten note. The reverse happened. It made me cry, and it really hurt feelings. And I thought, in the context of everything else that was going on in those days leading to the wedding, it was a really hard week of the wedding, and she was upset about something. But she owned it, and she apologized, and she brought me flowers and a note apologizing. The disagreement instantly became a major flashpoint in royal coverage. For years, the public was left with competing accounts, conflicting reports, and endless speculation. Supporters of both women defended their preferred version of events, while critics argued over who was telling the full story. The controversy became one of those royal mysteries that refused to disappear. What was hard to get over was being blamed for something that not only I didn't do, but that happened to me and the people who were part of our wedding going to our comms team and saying, "I know this didn't happen." For years, it remained a classic case of one side saying one thing and the other side saying another. Books, interviews, and media reports all seemed to add fresh layers to the story. Then royal author Tom Quinn revisited the issue in The Secret Life of Royal Servants, published in 2025. According to Quinn, he spoke with royal staff members and included information from a Kensington Palace staffer who was reportedly familiar with the situation. The key passage offered a more balanced explanation than many previous reports had suggested. The truth is that during the discussions about the bridesmaid's dress, Meghan said a few things she regretted, and Kate said a few things she later regretted, but it was all in the heat of the moment. Both women were crying their eyes out. That account shifted the conversation dramatically. Rather than presenting one woman as entirely right and the other as entirely wrong, it suggested that emotions were running high on all sides during an incredibly stressful period. According to this version, both women left the exchange upset. It's really important for people to understand the truth. I would hope that she would have wanted that corrected. And maybe in the same way that the palace wouldn't let anybody else negate it. They wouldn't let her because she's a good person. And I think so much of what I have seen play out is this idea of polarity. If you love her, you don't need to hate me. With Quinn's account gaining attention.
Now, of course, unfortunately for the Sussexes, Catherine's trip was wildly popular. There were literally people hanging out of balconies, like a scene from Romeo and Juliet. You know, Katharina, entire villages shut down, streets thronged. Now, the Place des Nations was not thronged yesterday. That is one thing I can tell you for sure. There were perhaps even more people attending a rally earlier in the day.
Many commentators argued that the long-running dispute was far more complicated than the simple narratives often presented in headlines. Instead of a clear winner or loser, the story appeared to reflect a tense moment between two people under enormous public pressure. Then the timeline moves forward again. September 2019 brought a new chapter when Meghan guest-edited British Vogue's September issue, titled "Forces for Change," creating another major headline moment for the Duchess of Sussex. There we were having tea. I remember walking into Kensington Palace and I was so excited. Oh my gosh. and I was like, "It's lovely to meet you." She said, "You're like, call me." Yeah. When Meghan guest edited British Vogue's Forces for Change issue into 2019, it became one of the most talked about magazine projects of the year. Edward Enninful, the magazine's editor-in-chief, praised the edition and described it as the fastest-selling issue in the publication's history. The project generated enormous attention, attracted major public interest, and placed Meghan at the center of another high-profile media success. At the same time, not every account of the collaboration was glowing. Critics and commentators offered their own opinions about Meghan's working style, with some claiming she could be demanding or difficult during projects. Others pointed out that successful creative productions often involve strong personalities and high expectations. Whatever the reality behind the scenes, the issue itself became a major headline maker and a significant moment in Meghan's public profile. 8 months later, another royal project captured national attention. In May 2020, Catherine launched Hold Still, a photography initiative designed to document life across Britain during the first COVID-19 lockdown. The project encouraged people to submit images reflecting their experiences during an unprecedented period in modern history. Catherine personally supported the campaign and helped bring together a collection of photographs that would later become a lasting record of the pandemic era. Please take a moment to capture what life's like for you, because together, I hope that we can build a lasting illustration of just how our country pulled together during the pandemic. I can't wait to share the final 100 images with you. To some royal commentators, the similarities between these projects were noteworthy. Both involved large-scale public engagement, strong visual storytelling, and themes aimed at broad audiences. While the projects had different goals and circumstances, they often ended up being discussed alongside one another in royal coverage. The timeline then shifts to January 2020 and the highly publicized Sandringham Summit. Queen Elizabeth II personally brought together senior royals to discuss the future roles of Harry and Meghan following their decision to step back from royal duties. The meeting quickly became one of the defining royal stories of that year and remains heavily discussed today. Several years later, in 2023, royal commentator Kinsey Schofield appeared on GB News and made a remark that reignited debate about the relationship between Meghan and Catherine. Meghan really kind of fixated on what the Princess of Wales, the Duchess of Cambridge at the time, Kate Middleton, had. Meghan is trying to have something of similar value, and I think that Meghan was a princess that wanted a castle, and she was denied, and I don't necessarily think that was the wrong decision. The key word that drew attention was fixated, not jealous, not competitive, fixated. Years after the Sandringham discussions, that single word continued to echo through royal commentary, becoming one of the most frequently repeated descriptions in debates surrounding the two women and their public roles. This is the point where many royal commentators say the conversation becomes impossible to ignore. Kinsey Schofield was not posting in an online comment section, nor was she speaking as a random social media critic. She has spent years covering the royal family from Los Angeles, interviewing figures connected to different sides of royal stories, and following developments closely. So when she publicly used the word fixated during a GB News broadcast, it immediately caught attention. For some as observers, the significance was not the word itself, but the fact that multiple commentators writing years apart appeared to arrive at similar conclusions. When self-experienced royal writers and broadcasters begin using the same language, supporters of this theory argue that it suggests a recurring pattern rather than an isolated observation. According to critics of Meghan, the next few years only intensified those discussions. Some commentators went even further, arguing that Harry's views and priorities changed significantly after his relationship with Meghan began, though those claims remain heavily debated by supporters of the Sussexes. Definitely don't get me wrong on on lots of the other, shall we say, obsessions. It's things that she has really evilly, actually, sort of made seep into his mind, like thoughts that he never had, right over many, many years. For example, things in terms of the relationship with William, or how he really felt about his mother. Then came a moment that changed the tone of royal coverage entirely.
50 invited guests, I would say. You know, they were kind of the ministers of random, the Brazilian health minister. I mean, you know, they weren't like, didn't seem like a particularly starry crowd, let's put it that way. And another kind of 50 people watching round the edge. The event has had almost no pickup in the global media, to be really honest. There was virtually no other international journalists had travelled.
On March 22nd, 2024, Catherine, Princess of Wales, publicly revealed that she had been diagnosed with cancer. Kensington Palace released a video message recorded at Adelaide Cottage, and the announcement immediately became global news. For many people, the long-running royal debates suddenly seemed far less important in light of such serious health news. Princess Kate has finally revealed where she's been the past few months, privately battling cancer. Following the announcement, Harry and Meghan released a public statement expressing support for Catherine and her family. We wish health and healing for Kate and the family. At the same time, media outlets began reporting on whether the Sussexes had been informed about the diagnosis before the public announcement. Royal correspondent Richard Fitzwilliams discussed the issue in comments reported focused on recovery. That powerful update received widespread coverage around the world and marked a significant moment in Catherine's public return. But while headlines celebrated her health progress, another royal-related discussion was already beginning to take shape just weeks later. In February 2025, Meghan launched with Love, Meghan, a Netflix series centered around cooking, entertaining, floral arrangements, and hosting guests in a warm, country-inspired setting. The show featured soft lighting, seasonal decorations, family-friendly themes, and an emphasis on homemaking and hospitality. As expected, reactions were immediate, and they were sharply divided. Some reviewers praised the show's visual style and relaxed atmosphere, while others were far more critical. Several media outlets published strongly worded reviews that quickly became part of the conversation surrounding the series. I think Meghan Markle's team were trolling her with this insane holiday special. Absolutely do not try any of these crafts or recipes at home, unless you also want to have a nervous breakdown. The Independent published a review describing the special as not fun, enjoyable, or even aspirational, while The Guardian offered its own critical take. Other reviewers went even further, producing headlines that spread rapidly across social media and royal commentary circles. She literally skips through a Christmas tree farm, serves food that looks like animal droppings, and cooks a meal that Prince Harry hates. The criticism didn't stop there. Royal commentator Jane Barr, who writes extensively about royal affairs, published a February article that generated attention because of its headline, "With Love, Meghan is the ultimate copycat." According to Barr,
One hastens to use the word rebrand with Meghan because there's so many rebrands, but I think there's no doubt really now that the Australia tour was an absolute disaster. I mean, you know, the polling that came out of it was so brutal. And I think that clearly that, you know, people did not like the mixing of the commerce with the service. Incidentally, Queen Elizabeth could have told them this 10 years ago, right?
elements of the show's presentation echoed themes that some observers associated with Catherine's family background and the image often linked to the Princess of Wales. She pointed to the country-style setting, entertaining aesthetic, and lifestyle branding as examples frequently mentioned in these comparisons. They know they're on camera, so they're trying to act normal. But they want you to think acting normal is looking around the house smiling, all the time sitting around by yourself going they're trying to act normal, but they also want to look good. Yeah. And so that's what's happened, and that's what she's doing the entire time. Whether viewers saw the similarities as meaningful or merely coincidental, the comparisons once again fueled debate among royal watchers and kept the discussion firmly in the headlines. According to reports published that same month, Meghan was said to be frustrated by the growing claims that her Netflix series was copying elements associated with Catherine or her family. A source speaking to Royal Insider reportedly pushed back against those accusations, arguing that certain themes and traditions are not exclusive to any one person. A Sussex source told Royal Insider that it doesn't own Christmas. That response quickly became part of the wider debate. Critics continued drawing comparisons, while supporters argued that cozy holiday settings, family gatherings, baking, and seasonal decorations are common features across countless lifestyle brands. The disagreement only added another layer to an already heated conversation. I did think it was cute to see them. I can't believe I'm saying this. I just almost vomited in my own mouth. But I did think that their height difference was cute in the kitchen. Harry and Meghan's. I was like, oh, that's a cute little height difference. Even some critics occasionally found positive moments to highlight, though many remained sharply divided in their overall opinions of the series and its presentation. Then attention shifted back to Catherine. On May 13 and 14, 2026, she visited Reggio Emilia, Italy, for what was widely described as her first major solo overseas engagement since her cancer treatment. The trip attracted significant media coverage and enthusiastic public support. During the visit, Reggio Emilia's mayor, Marco Massari, presented her with one of the city's highest civic honors, marking a major moment in the tour. Reports described large crowds gathering throughout the city to catch a glimpse of the Princess of Wales. Streets filled with well-wishers, balconies became viewing spots, and local residents turned out in large numbers to welcome her. The atmosphere generated extensive coverage across international media outlets. The primo trick for children at a Reggio Emilia preschool chanted "Kate, Kate." The visit also included several community-focused activities. Catherine reportedly met local residents, spent time with school children, and took part in cultural events celebrating the region's traditions. One memorable moment involved making tortelli alongside local grandmothers, a gesture that was warmly received by many attendees. When speaking with locals, Catherine also attempted some Italian, drawing praise from those she met. "I need to practice my Italian." Teacher Roberta Marzi later told reporters that Catherine spoke clearly and confidently during their exchanges, leaving a positive impression on those present. Just days later, on May 17, 2026, Meghan appeared in Geneva, where she delivered remarks at a World Health Organization memorial event. The appearance drew its own media attention, though some commentators compared the scale of coverage and attendance to Catherine's Italian visit. Royal commentator Tom Sykes, who attended the Geneva event, shared his observations afterward. There were like 50 invited guests, I would say. You know, they were kind of the ministers of the Brazilian health minister. I mean, you know, they didn't seem like a particularly starry crowd, let's put it that way. And another kind of 50 people watching around the edge. As with so many royal stories, the two events quickly became linked in public discussion, with commentators once again drawing comparisons between the public roles, appearances, and reception of Catherine and Meghan. According to some royal commentators, Meghan's Geneva appearance generated far less international media attention than expected. Reports suggested that relatively few foreign journalists traveled to cover the event, leading critics to question its overall impact on the global stage. The events had almost no pickup in the global media, to be really honest. There were virtually no other international journalists who had traveled there. It didn't seem like a particularly starry crowd, let's put it that way. Royal commentator Tom Sykes expanded on that argument during a podcast appearance where he suggested the Geneva visit should be viewed in the context of the Sussex's broader public strategy following their April 2026 Australia tour. In his view, the Geneva event represented another attempt to reshape public perception after what he described as a difficult period for the couple. When hast used the word rebrand with Meghan because there's so many rebrands? But I think there's no doubt really now that the Australia tour was an absolute disaster. I mean, the polling that came out of it was so brutal. Sykes argued that public reaction to the Australia trip had been affected by concerns about blending commercial ventures with public service messaging. He also suggested that this issue echoed long-standing royal traditions and expectations that have existed for generations. And I think that clearly people did not like the mixing of the commerce with the service. Incidentally, Queen Elizabeth could have told them this 10 years ago, right? The discussion gained even more attention after an Instagram post published the night before, which some critics described as poorly timed. Sykes later summarized his opinion in a Daily Beast column with a blunt assessment: staggeringly tone-deaf. For commentators who have followed the Catherine and Meghan comparisons over the years, the contrast between the two events became another talking point. On one side was Catherine's widely covered visit to Italy, where crowds gathered to greet her, and local communities enthusiastically welcomed her appearances. On the other side was Meghan's Geneva engagement, which critics argued generated a more limited response. Whether fair or not, those comparisons quickly spread through royal media coverage. That brings the timeline to its 8th entry. 8 years, 8 headline-making moments. According to the commentators highlighted through this discussion, each example followed a similar pattern. Catherine experienced a major public moment, and Meghan soon found herself being compared to it. Sometimes weeks later, sometimes months later. Supporters and critics continue to debate those interpretations.
Easy, Dan, that they're not invited just sends such a strong message as to where the younger royals stand on this issue, which is that I think especially the older generation, so we're talking, Peter and Zara, who are closer in age to Harry and William, in particular William, and the three of them are quite close, are looking at Harry and Meghan going, we just don't want any part of this dog and pony show that you two offer. This is going to be a happy occasion, and if Harry and Meghan are there,
the comparisons themselves have become a recurring feature of royal commentary. The timeline began at St. George's Chapel in May 2018 with a royal wedding. Now attention turns to another family wedding. On June 6, 2026, Peter Phillips, the late Queen Elizabeth II's eldest grandchild, is scheduled to marry Harriet Spurling at All Saints Church in Kemble, according to a report by Hello Magazine. Prince Harry and Meghan are not expected to attend, adding yet another chapter to the ongoing story that royal watchers continue to follow closely. The fact that the royals are briefing directly to the Sun that the king wanted Beatrice and Eugenie to be there and wanted them to remain part of the family is obviously like a dagger in the heart to Harry and Meghan, who are desperately trying to get back into the fold. That claim sparked another wave of discussion among royal commentators. For some observers, the reported guest list says a great deal about where relationships currently stand inside the royal family. Others argue that wedding invitations are personal decisions and don't necessarily reflect larger royal politics. Either way, the speculation has been impossible to ignore. It's crazy, Dan, that they're not invited. It just sends a strong message as to where the younger royals stand on this issue, which is that I think especially the older generation. So we're talking, Peter and Zara, who are closer in age to Harry and William. In particular, William and the three of them are quite close, are looking at Harry and Meghan going, we just don't want any part of this dog and pony show that you two offer. This is going to be a happy occasion. And if Harry and Meghan are there, it's not a happy occasion anymore. It's stressful, it's tense. Those comments came from royal correspondent Emily Andrews during the Catching Up with the Royals podcast. Her view was straightforward. The decision may simply come down to avoiding unnecessary controversy on what is meant to be a joyful family occasion. Peter probably didn't invite Harry and Meghan because it's too problematic. And that brings us to the end of this 8-year timeline. From wedding dress comparisons in 2018 to the latest headlines in 2026, royal commentators have pointed to a series of moments that they believe form a larger pattern. Whether you see those events as coincidence, professional ambition, media-driven comparisons, or something else entirely, The debate continues to divide royal watchers around the world. Now it's your turn. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to hit the like button, because it helps the channel reach more people who follow royal news and analysis. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next video. There are plenty more royal stories, controversies, and headline-making developments coming very soon. And before you go, leave a comment below with your thoughts. I read through them and love seeing the different perspectives on these stories.